Hello, I am Challen the Edgy Skater, and today is another part of our beginner series. I wanted to talk to you about things that you should bring to you in the rink and have in your skate bag. Alright, at some point I'll do a video when I have the medical clearance to carry my own skate bag again. I'll pack it up and then I'll unpack it on location and show you exactly what I bring specifically. However, I wanted to do a beginner intro video of at least the bare essential things you need. Okay, so first of all is the thing to carry your skates in the first place. Um, your skate shop and lots of websites have different kinds of skate bags. They might range from more of a duffel style to something that is almost triangular and has a skate on each side, and then there's room in the middle for other things. Um, and there is Zuka bags, which are really, really popular, and they're really expensive. But they do show up on a Facebook Marketplace sometimes, either the covers of the frames or both. It's a much more reasonable price if you don't want to go new, because I think they were several $100s new. Um, but I personally just use a backpack. Um, it is not the fanciest option in the world, uh, but literally just a school backpack. Um, your high school or college backpack is just fine, provided that your skates fit in it. Um, so that's what I use as a skate bag. Um, so that's the number one thing, right? You have your skates, you need some sort of bag to put them in. And actually, when I used to bring my ice dance skates and my freestyle skates with me, I had a big duffel bag that I fit both of those in together, and then I had a bunch of different kinds of on and off ice training equipment that I brought. So maybe when I do my what's in my skate bag, I'll bring the duffel, and then I'll pack my backpack with certain things from the duffel. So then you can see what I would bring when I had the most stuff. Like biggest case scenario, what I'm gonna need that day, and then I can show you a more pared down version that might be more applicable to a more beginning adult skater. So that could be a fun thing when I can carry all that weight again, because it was heavy. But I made it heavy. This will be pretty light. So you've got your skate bag of whatever kind. The skates themselves, when they are in the bag, should have something called a soaker, which is sort of like a material sleeve that goes over the blade itself, so it can't damage the other skate and it can't damage the inside of whatever you're carrying it in. And usually it they can sometimes advertise having a moisture wicking material on the interior. um, I personally don't trust that. Just clean your blades, make sure they're dry before you put anything on them. If your soakers are wet, don't put your blade in wet soakers. If the outside's dry, flip them inside out if you can. If not, then no soakers today. But I guess arguably more important than soakers is to have that towel or cloth of whatever kind um, to dry the blades. I'm going to put that as a higher priority than soakers. Is having, whether it is an animal based cloth or some sort of synthetic or natural fiber cloth, something to dry the blades. Okay, so the cousin to soakers is hard guards. Technically, a soaker is a kind of guard, but the hard guard is going to be a plastic guard, and it's going to fit just like the soaker does, but it's what you're going to wear when your skates are out of the bag, but you're not on the ice yet. Because, as we talked about in previous videos, this equipment is expensive and you want to get as much life out of it as possible. And when you walk on the rubber mats of the rink, rubber is going to dull the edge of the metal. And on top of that, that rubber has all kinds of dirt, debris, maybe little stone chips from outside, who knows what on it. And some of it is so fine you can't see it, but it can still nick and dull the edge of your blades. So you'll have hopefully heart guards and soakers in your skate bag. Another thing is a lot of people are going to want gloves. And I would say have at least 2 pairs of gloves in case something happens to the one, whether they get too wet, lost holes, whatever. You always want a spare. A lot of things in the skate bag I feel like should have spares. Um, and I would also say for the hard cards, on the side, um, either in the front or back, I'd actually write your name and possibly your phone number on each one. That way, nobody accidentally takes them. And if you forget them, the rink or, kind person can call you and you can get your guards back. Because these things can be expensive too, depending on the brand and, the level of intensity of these objects. Soakers and guards can cost anywhere from like around $10 to $30 or more each. So each has a pair, each pair. So we want to take care of them, not lose track of them. I'm a very forgetful person, especially as a kid. I'd get something and leave it behind, have to go to Lost and Found next day. Um, and as an adult, I'm not as much better about it as I probably should be. So these are things that can help you keep your stuff. Um, so let's see. We got skate bag, soakers, guards, drying cloth, gloves. Um, in previous video, we talked about skating socks or tights. I would say keep an extra pair of those in your skate bag as well. And a lot of rinks, the dry air bothers people. Either it irritates their eyes, or especially for some reason, spinning practice, of course, spinning practice, people will get runny noses. So I think it's nice to have like travel size Kleenexes on you. And honestly, it's something that skaters almost never pack and then wish they did. So if it is noticed that you bring Kleenexes, there is a fair chance that people are going to want to go to you for Kleenexes. So maybe stock up a bit on those. Okay, let's see what else we got. Uh, Bare essentials. Okay, honestly, that probably covers the absolute minimal bare essentials that you would need for practice. Next level above, um, I'll call them essential add-ons, but they are still add-ons. Um, I think it is very helpful. I had a coach that required this, and some coaches do require this, is keeping a skating notebook or journal in your bag that you can bring out onto the ice. And then you can keep tally of what you've practiced in a given session. Um, that way you're not forgetting anything, or you know exactly how much of something you did, as well as notes that your coach said, or notes about how things are going in that practice, or things that come up that you want to bring up to your coach later during your next lesson. It's very helpful to keep track of these things in real time than trying to recall them later and write about it hours after the session or lesson's already ended. And to a lot of coaches, even if they don't require this, they'll really appreciate seeing this level of effort, because for a skater to voluntarily do this, it really says good things about going above and beyond what a lot of people are expecting. And again, like I said, some coaches require it. They're going to want to see it, look through it, maybe even mark or add things to it. So that is a really nice add-on. I'd say in that same category, probably more important is bringing a water bottle, because figure skating is surprisingly dehydrating. It's not necessarily the kind of dehydration you're going to be aware of. Something about dryness and cold. Um, you don't necessarily realize how much water you're losing, and it's actually really encouraged to drink throughout the sessions. I was not always the best at that, and there were some days that I really regretted not remembering to bring my water bottle or getting too distracted on the ice to properly drink from the water bottle. So I would say even get a big one so you don't have to worry about refills. And you can bring that right on the barrier of the ice, or the penalty boxes sometimes have like a little shelf built into the inside of the barrier. You can just put that right there with your skate guards. Um, and I would say water bottle, while it may not be in the skate bag itself, pretty essential add-on thing. Um, if you have music that you want to listen to or need to practice for a program, I know people bringing AirPods on the ice. I might recommend, if you do that, to maybe have one of those headbands or something that can maybe cover the ears, because I have seen them fly out of skaters in the middle of doing run throughs, and then someone else can skate over it or themselves and break your equipment. So I also know there are bone conductive type of headphones or bands that can play the music too. So by all means, things like that. Just keep in mind what you're doing on the ice, so it's not stuff that's going to be uncomfortable to wear. It's also stuff that's not going to just uh, risk falling out or breaking into pieces that can be dismantled and go flying somewhere. All right, let's see what else. I know some people will bring like a lot of people use their phone now, but if you have your music stored on a particular device, whether again it's for a program or pleasure, um, a lot of rink sound systems are not good, and you have to be able to hook your phone or player to their equipment if you want everyone to be able to hear the music. So having a handful of those kinds of connecting chords, I'd say, is a pretty essential add-on. They get lost easy. Sometimes they get taken. It's good to have maybe more than just a couple of those, just in case. And let's see. Obviously, with a journal is something to write with. Um, that I think that covers it for those sort of essential add-ons. Um, yeah, uh, lesser essential, but more like training add-ons. I like to train with resistance bands on the ice. So when I do my own "What's in my bags" kind of video, I've got different strength resistance bands. Um, I also, this is a great tip for building endurance, provided that you have the okay, either from the rink or your coach. I have one of those parachutes that you can Velcro around your waist, and that's a very, very intense cardio and endurance workout. Is to skate with those kinds of training parachutes. Uh, Sometimes skaters will bring things like tennis balls on the ice. They'll use it to help be aware. It's usually more for jumping practice, so it might not be applicable to you just yet, but especially for training multi revolution jumps, skaters will sometimes use a ball or maybe even a skate guard to make sure that they're transferring all of their weight over the leg they're going to be doing the backspin in the air over. So they'll have it in one hand. When they bring everything together over that side, they'll switch that object to their other hand, and then they'll finish the jump or they'll finish the on ice exercise for that jump. Um, that uh, Again, it might not be applicable just yet, but that's a really good training thing you can bring on the ice. Um, I also used to bring a dowel that I used particularly to practice camel spin. Hold it in one hand, go into the spin, and then have it behind me, and then I had to grab it with my other hand to get really a specific kind of back position and arm extension, and try to make sure everything's all in line with the leg right. But again, I've seen skaters also use their skate guard for this, or I've seen them use bands for this, even though I don't think I've ever tried it with just band. Um, so less essential, but other training options. Um, Sometimes people also, for their off ice training, they bring like a little ball or a tennis ball or maybe a golf ball or a spiky little rubber ball to massage out their feet. That can be really nice, or maybe help massage out your back. Uh, there's devices called spinners, and there's a handful of them in different designs of them, very similar to what ballerinas will use to practice the pirouettes. Um, it's not that kind, but it's a similar idea. And there's also a version of it that is a completely round circle. The more higher end ones tend to be circular. And then there's another one that instead of being more foot shaped, is just it is a square on top of another square with a rotating chain um, in between them. So the one will hold things steady, and then the other thing spins around on top of it. I used to have that kind of spinner, and actually the sound really bothered me. It was just very loud pitch to me. And then I switched to one that was more like a Dea has more of a foot rectangular shaped spinner. I have a knockoff brand of that, but I think it works just as well. And it was like a third of the price. Um, so spinners, I like to not just use them for spins, but I actually like to practice all the different turns on them. And I can make a video specifically about that, how to use your spinner to learn every 1 foot turn. I haven't seen other people really doing that. Not to say they don't, just I haven't seen it. So I'm very happy to make a video about that when I am able. Okay, so what else? I guess on like a safety level, little first aid kits. You don't even have to like assemble it piece by piece. You can just go to local drugstore someplace, get like a little first aid kit with like a Neosporin or little alcohol wipes, different size bandages. Um, Honestly, it's not like skaters fall and cut themselves a lot on the ice. In my experience, it's super rare. But then you can just deal with it yourself. You don't necessarily, if it's very minor, you don't have to necessarily go through the rinks first aid kit. and you have everything you need right there. You don't even need to get staff involved. You can just take care of it. So that is a nice, not exactly essential, but just good to have on you add-on. All right. I, off the top of my head, can't think of anything else. I'm sure there's a million and one things that I'm leaving out. So please, share in the comments, what do you have in your skate bag? What do you consider essential, or is a really nice add-on that you'd just like to share? All right. I hope this video finds you well and that you have a great skate.